Hello everyone, this is Ethan with SDMETAL. We're back in an alleyway somewhere behind Brick by Brick, and we're here with Spades and Blades. How's it going tonight, guys?
What's up? Great.
Awesome. So this is like your second to last tour date with Incite, which for those who don't know, it's Max Calavera's son is the front man of this band. So how did
Richie.
How did you guys get booked on this tour? Did they contact you, or you put your feelers out to them, or?
Basically, we did a tour at the end of the year last year, and that was our first tour with our booking agent. And when we finished that tour, he was just like, "Wow, if you guys can complete that tour, then you deserve to be on like an awesome tour." Because that tour was hell. And so he said, "I'm gonna
Navy tour."
Yeah, he said, "I'm gonna put your name in the hat for the Incite tour. It's like the biggest thing I've got going right now." And he put our name in the hat, and Incite's management came back and said, "Yeah, those guys sound great. Let's get them on the road. Let's
do this."
So, yeah,
definitely. That's really awesome, especially because it was like last time you came around, you were with Solus Deus, so it seems just going up and up from there. So,
yeah, I mean that's the goal.
idea.
Yeah, I mean we've had some people tell us that going out on our first like real tour, and it being 7 weeks is really ambitious, and we're ambitious guys. We're an ambitious band. We've been at this for a while, and now that
2006,
coming up on 10 years here. And now that touring opportunities are presenting themselves, we're rolling with it. So
there we go. All right.
Thank you.
So speaking of starting out, like the name Spades and Blades, it's an awesome band name. I have to give you that. So where did that? Was there like a story behind that, or is it just like this sounds awesome, so there it is?
No, there's definitely a story. So before we had this project, myself and Justin were in another project called The Havoc, which was a street punk band that formed in 2001 and lasted until 2006. And during the course of that band's career, we used 2 symbols as our logos. The first symbol we used was a razor blade. We used the razor blade to cut out like the logo and then stitch it back together, which is what this is.
Okay.
And then
similar to this.
Yeah. And we just decided that looks cool with the razor blade. So we kept the razor blade, and then later started getting like a lot more of like Motorhead kind of influence. And of course with the Ace of Spades and all like that, we started using the spade as part of the logo. And then once we decided to transition out of the punk scene and go into more of a rock sound, we actually started as more like a hard rock band. We had Spades and Blades rock and roll on one of our t-shirts. And a friend of ours said, "You guys ought to name your new band Spades and Blades." And we were just like, yeah, that's cool. Like it kind of is like carrying over some of our history into what we're doing now, and we've thought about changing the name, several times over the years, but I don't know, I just have always had a gut instinct that the name is cool, we ought to just stick with it, and, because it's not typical,
Yeah, most people think it's like a rockabilly band name or something.
Yeah.
Before they see like the actual logo. And
Something that's been really fun on this tour is the complete botching of our name at numerous venues. We had Shades and Blades, Slades and Blades, Slaves and Blades, Blades and Spades. It's just like people, illiteracy is a problem in America today. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah, I was like, I've been noticing that on your Instagram. You're posting like, oh, apparently Slades and Blades is playing. It's like,
it was funny. I even took a picture with one that said Shades and Blades with my glasses on.
Yeah.
It was funny.
It's pretty, actually, it's kind of funny, actually. I don't know.
It is.
Laugh at it.
I mean, you just got to roll with the punches, I mean, a lot of people don't know who we are yet, so, of course, some people are going to get the name wrong.
Or they're lazy.
Yeah, or they're lazy. Either way.
The email that was
Yeah,
sent to
they
them.
don't read the email. It's
17
spelled.
times.
It's okay.
So, just a quick question. Like, for lyric purposes or musically, who's the main writer of the group? Is it like one particular one, or?
Well, I write all the lyrics.
Okay.
But musically, it's a group effort. We have another guitarist who writes with us. He doesn't tour with us. And he's been in the group since the beginning.
Since the Havoc.
Yeah, since the Havoc. He was also in the Havoc. So he presents a lot of song ideas, and we work on them together as a band to get them to the final stage. But for lyrics, I write all of them.
Okay. Is there any specific inspiration when you write, or is it just...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in conspiracy theories and the end of the world, and also like this current project is based on the Book of Revelation, so the Bible's always been an influence. I think there's always relatable material in the Bible, and putting our interpretation on that message, but presenting it in a way that is tangible, it's relatable, it fits with metal, is important to me. And at the same time, it's not like we're trying to shove some message down anybody's throat,
Definitely not proselytizing.
Yeah, it's not anything about that, it's just, that's been a source of inspiration throughout my entire life.
Trying to wake people up.
Yeah, we want people to see that there is more to life than just all of these distractions, that other people that are in power, are putting in front of all of us to keep us asleep. And I believe in experiencing an awakening, whether that's spiritual or mental or emotional, or all of those things. That's kind of my goal. I've gone through those awakenings in my life, and I want our lyrics and our message as a band to be able to encourage other people to think about those things so that they can have their own awakenings.
Definitely. So I'm guessing that's also has some of the meaning behind the new hand tattoo as well from you. Or is that just
this one?
Yeah, the Blues Brothers reference, or is that just...
Yeah, it's a Blues Brothers reference, yeah. I grew up watching that movie with my dad, and so it's always been like a big influence, like musically in my life. I'm actually really into blues music. I'm into lots of music, but like that, and like Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson and like classic stuff, is a big source of inspiration for me, not just as a musician, but as a performer. And if you watch that movie specifically, the Blues Brothers, like, they're not the best singers, but they entertain, it's all about the show. Yeah. So, and that's like a big thing about our band too. It's like, we want people to walk away from one of our shows and just being like, wow, that band knows how to put on a great live experience,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the thing that sticks out usually too. Like, from watching a live show, you see, oh, they have the look, they have the, the energy and everything, and they'll take the time to sit down with a fan and be like, hey, what's up? Thanks for coming out. Blah,
Absolutely,
blah,
yeah.
Because I remember you guys did that for me the first time I saw you at Soma with the Woven Board.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was beyond cool. So thank you again for that.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, I think it's important in this industry to be able to connect with fans,
It's an alarm. It's an alarm.
I mean, I think a lot of bands really don't grasp how important it is to connect with fans. And at the same time, I think a lot of fans don't recognize how important it is to support the bands, We've seen a lot of crazy stuff like on this tour, like you see a lot of people come out for local bands, but they won't necessarily stick around to support the national acts. And that's kind of intriguing, you know.
It's something we call, if I may interject here, we call LBS, local band syndrome.
Yeah.
And is usually accompanied by a drum set that is way too big for the stage it's on. And then followed by a disappearing act, which is quite miraculous to get to a show and you see like 30, 40 kids there, right? And then the local band plays and everyone leaves.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
You are your scene, and when you take your scene with you after a show, you are murdering your scene. Because what's going to happen is our promoter, we're going to tell a promoter, yeah, no one was around for the show. There was no one there. Promoter's not going to book us again. They're not going to book any of their other big acts. Like, we're small fish, big pond, you know? But they're not going to book any bigger acts at that venue ever again because they're like, why would I book there? No one shows up.
Yep.
There's no money to be made. So local bands, I think, don't realize that they are killing their own scene very quickly. So,
That's wow. I've never actually seen I've seen that happen, but not to that degree. But
it's literally after locals, it's just bands on bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
some of the places we've been, it's been
even
it's
some
been
of the local bands have left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The local bands leave with all their fans. They're gone,
and it hasn't been like that for every single show. You know,
we're also firm believers in us and the headlining bands watching all the local bands. So in respect for us watching them, they should stick around and watch us. Yeah. Because that's just respectful.
Yeah, it's just support, you know? The scene can't exist without support. And it has to be present on all levels. Local, national, international, you know? Without the support from fans especially, you know, the scene can't thrive. Venues can't thrive. Promoters can't thrive. And in turn, the bands can't thrive.
Shows will be obsolete.
Yeah.
Speaking of local bands and new bands, are there any you guys are specifically listening to you would recommend to people looking for something new to listen to?
In terms of local groups?
Or just in general, what are you guys listening to right now?
Oh gosh.
This is a good question for John, for sure.
Recently there's a band called Paris. They're from Boston, Massachusetts. They have been dance party music for the van. We've had a lot of Skillet and a lot of
we haven't been listening to a lot of that.
Well, not a whole lot. We've listened to jamming Skillet. We've been jamming
Elvis.
Lots of Elvis. Not too much rap and hip hop though.
No,
not this short.
Not this
a lot
short.
of Tenacious D.
Personally, I've listened to a lot of Sleep, Action Bronson, Neurosis, Zayo. Actually listened to a lot of Soulfly on this trip. I mean, for obvious reasons, hanging out with some of the guys that are. And I was like, you know, I should really pull some of that stuff back up. Listening to a lot of that, and then, I mean, just your usual metal stuff that a lot of us still listen to, like Living Sacrifice, and you know, you got the Woe Is Me stuff, Miss May I, things like that. Usually on pretty heavy rotation. Ghost Inside, Plot and You, stuff like that. So.
All right, so definitely makes sense though. So if someone was gonna follow you guys on tour, like say Crazy Fan, what would they expect to see a lot of?
Broken basses,
sleep, sweat, lots of water.
We travel everywhere, but we see nothing. Like when we're not playing shows, we are at a Pilot or a Flying J. So if you want to come hang out with us in the Denny's that's there,
dude, truck stops are the bomb.
Yes, that's where we've been.
It's
living.
so true.
I mean, you think like, oh, get tour, see the world. You're like, yes, you see the world through a van window on whatever highway you happen to be on. Yeah. So if there's nothing outside that window, that's what you get to see.
Yep.
But I mean, honestly,
hay, cows.
Hay, a lot of hay, a lot of cows.
But also an explosive live show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Justin put it the best. He said, tour is a lot like a Saturday. Saturdays, you got to do some laundries, you got to do dishes, you got to garden, you got to weed the front lawn, you know, and all day you do all this BS. At the end of the day, you want to have a raging party. So you have to get through all this stuff during the day that's just really boring, you don't like, to rage for a quick half hour on stage, and the rest of the night's a nice party, you know. But then you don't want to party too much, because then you still got to get up the next day and do all that stuff again. It's like a Saturday every day.
Yep.
That's a good metaphor. I like that.
Yeah, Justin
I like that.
Yeah.
There you go. So, for when you guys first started playing music, when did you guys like initially pick up an instrument and say, "Hey, this is what I want to do"? What was your inspiration to do that?
I started singing in preschool and just kept going from there. But the first time I picked up an instrument, I want to say I was probably 10 years old, in the school band learning to play trombone. And then I discovered guitar at 13. And as soon as I discovered that, I was like, I don't need this thing anymore.
But it's so shiny.
So it's shiny, yet it's expensive as hell too.
10 for me, picking up an instrument, but 13 was kind of like the first time I was like, oh yeah, I started a band like right away and all that.
Nice.
I was 12 or 13, I'm not exactly sure, junior high time. And my cousin played drums in a couple different bands, the Rush tribute band and stuff. And I just wanted to start playing bass. So I got a bass and just went from there. Started a band right away too. Went on tour, my first tour when I was 17 in a band called No Purchase Necessary. And then did that for a bit, and then we started the Havoc and now Spades. So.
You switched to guitar for that.
Yeah, I started going.
John?
I started learning guitar. The only reason I wanted to learn guitar is because I wanted to win a contest to play guitar with my favorite band on stage. So I had my grandmother help me get guitar lessons, and I was literally just like, screw this, strings are too small. Set instruments aside for about 6 months, and then my little brother was playing. He started doing bass, and I did guitar, but bass was a lot easier. Hearing the same bass lines over and over and over again. So one day I went into his room, stole his bass guitar, and learned how to read tabs, and it's been there ever since. Yeah. So I just stuck with bass. It was a lot easier.
So you're only dealing 4 to 5 strings compared to
6 tiny ones with big fingers.
I was about 10 or 11 actually when I first picked up a guitar. I took some classical guitar lessons and some piano lessons when I was a kid till I was about 12. And then I got a go-kart, which I thought was really cool, and I didn't care about music, but then I realized that punk rock was really awesome, and Mike Carrera looked like a golden god on stage, so I was like, I want to do that! But nobody wanted a bass player. Everybody needed a drummer. So I sold the go-kart, and I bought a drum kit. And God bless my parents for listening to the same punk beat over and over in the basement for 8, 9 years. I feel so bad about that now. I'm sure I was horrible. And that's just monotonous music, there's not a whole lot of variety there. But I think I was about 19 when it really hit me that I was like, I can't stop this. I can't give it up. Whenever I stopped playing drums, something was missing from my life. So I really kept pushing it. I was in another band called Lux for a while. We recorded a full album in LA. Played with Leonard Skinner, did a few little things here and there, but some internal things occurred with the band. It fell apart, and I met these guys, and so here we are today.
Nice.
Ripped away.
Nice. Yeah, the Leonard Skinner thing, that's awesome.
It's pretty cool. They're really old.
Yeah, that was just like one of the first CDs I ever bought, so that kind of just stuck out for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That was like the first one I bought with my own money was Leonard Skinner's Greatest Hits, so I'm just like...
They still jam, dude. It's awesome.
Yes, absolutely nuts. But, so, little different question. If you guys were able to book a tour and bring along 3 other bands, who would you bring along with you?
Ooh.
Would be like bigger
Us
bands?
headlining or
Real Big Fish.
Yeah. Hey, I would be fine with that.
I would too. I just didn't.
We'd actually kind of want to tour with our friends' bands, I think.
Yeah.
Probably at this time, I would.
Woven War would be cool.
Definitely want to go with Woven War, Norma Jean.
They'd be taking us though. We wouldn't be taking them.
We'd not be taking them on tour.
But if the
Norma
tables
Jean
return,
and I don't know, probably right at this. Well, I guess we can just go. Who else?
I'd do a tour of the Rise Against. That'd be cool. Punk rock.
Yeah.
There you go. That's cool. Those 3 would be good. It's
definitely.
Pretty big tour.
So, also, are we going to be expecting any new music from you guys soon, or
April 24th.
Yeah,
CD release show.
Next weekend,
nice.
actually, we have
Avalon's in Santa Ana.
Yeah, there's a tentative House of Blues Anaheim date being planned too. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be self-releasing this physical copies, and then digital. We'll see what's going on. You know, we're not exactly sure what's going on with the label and all that stuff right now, but we're going to go ahead and self-release so we have some physical copies to give people. A lot of people are anxious for it, so
ask for that CD.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm glad you guys are still doing the physical thing, so that's like my favorite.
It's really tough. I think a lot of people don't realize that it costs a lot of money out of a band's pocket. I mean, a lot of this stuff is ridiculously expensive. Yeah. And I mean, Justin, Jason, and I have been blessed enough to have our own businesses, and so a lot of us, you know, we put a lot of our own money into this. But I mean, printing CDs is not just a quick little thing. If you want to do it right, I mean, anybody can go burn some CDs on a Memorex burner from, you know, Best Buy. Yeah, but that's, you know, kind of subpar.
You don't get the packaging as well.
If you want to do it right, you got to put the money down, and there's no two ways about it. It's either all or nothing. But we've had a lot of demand for the CDs. A lot of people ask, hey, do you have a CD? Do you have an album? It's like, okay, you know what? Obviously, we really do need to have that CD. And I think it still means a lot to a lot of people. Well, there's to have a physical copy.
As well as us.
Yeah.
There's a psychology behind that.
Tangible.
Yes, it's tangible. It's a physical product. And when you can give something to someone that's physical and they can touch it, they can see it, they can feel it, they can open it, mentally it becomes real to them.
Makes a deeper emotional connection.
It does. Where something digital, you know, just passes by. You know, people are bombarded with digital advertising every single day.
It's disposable.
Yeah, it's easy to
an MP3 is disposable.
Yeah.
A CD, you paid money for a tangible good. You have a harder time getting rid of it or not, you know, keeping it.
Or it was actually given to you by a member of the band.
Yeah.
Which makes it an even more
human connection.
Human connection, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you also got the physical backup too. If the computer crashes, you still got the music.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
I think that's like the main thing for me too. It's like with that, it's
CD
like,
players are still a thing.
Yeah,
they still come in all the cars.
That's true. They still haven't got away with that. So
nope.
And I hope they don't.
For real.
So, let's see. What other questions do I got? So, I should have planned this out a little faster in advance.
All right.
But anyways, so also for the band, is there like any main influences, like for like, you know, writing or anything like that? You know, just.
I mean, I'll say for me, just off the bat for my drumming. I mean, I don't write guitar. I don't write the vocal lyrics or anything like that. But drumming wise, my two biggest influences are Lance from Living Sacrifice and Jesse Smith from Zane. Two amazingly awesome drummers, and they just good style, you know, very creative, and actually drummer from Strong Arm too. I mean, that's a really way old, like, spirit-filled hardcore band from back in the day, but good drummer too, and that's a huge influence for me. So.
I'd say for me, like, anytime.
Lopper, right? Is that the name?
Mostly.
Actually, I really do like 80s music, but
he does.
In terms of this genre, anytime I listen to something that really intrigues me with the level of production, I'm really into production value where there's layers, you know, within the music. And if I'm listening to something and I'm just like, wow, how did they do that? That I chase after that for our band, you know. I do all of the post-production, backing tracks, MIDI tracks, all that stuff for our material. And so anytime I hear something and I feel challenged by it, that's my main source of inspiration in terms of the music aspect that I'm involved with. Lyrically, I don't get inspired by other artists lyrically. To be honest, 9 times out of 10, I'm not even paying attention to what the lyrics are. I don't read lyrics. I mean, I for whatever reason, that has just never been an important aspect to the music for me. I just write from my heart, really. You know, I hear patterns more when I'm listening to our music and trying to write the vocals for it. I hear patterns with how the vocals should go, and from those patterns, I tend to write words that fit with the pattern, but also words that relate to the topic of that song. And I prefer to write in a manner of a concept. It just gives me a lot more direction as a lyricist to have one concept and to separate it, by song by song by song. So that's what my influence is for lyrics.
There you go.
My biggest influences are Lemmy from Motorhead and James Hetfield from Metallica.
There you go.
For sure.
As in, like, musical influences, I don't really have too much to, grasp from. But Mark McKnight from Atreya really knows how to throw a bass.
This guy's really good at throwing basses, by the way. Yeah, he's definitely
throwing basses and melting faces.
He's definitely a big contributing factor to the
Overall
bigness,
bombastic experience.
Yeah, of the live show.
Bombastic.
For sure.
Bombastic.
There we go.
That's a word.
That's a word now.
I'm pretty sure it's a word. I don't know. It's good.
What the wiki it?
It is.
Yeah.
I know it's a word.
It's a word. We're going. It's a word.
It's a word.
Sounds good.
So, all right. So I think that's all the questions I got for you guys. So thank you
Cool,
so
man.
much for standing around and
Yeah.
talking with us at
Heck
SD
yeah.
Metal.
Absolutely.
Make sure to check out Spades and Blades' new album coming out this month. And
April
go
24th.
April 24th. Go support these guys. This is Ethan with SD Metal signing off.